Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Going into the second part of today's episode of Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation. There are bodies scattered about the jungle floor. Gowl is looking at the group of you, kind of like, "Wow, y'all are serious." Like he's wiping his sword off on a leaf, but giving you all a look, kind of like, because this is the first time he's seen you bring out the big guns. But he doesn't say anything. He also looks pretty beat up. Like he's got several spear wounds, but he's not. He's not like looking like he cares much about it.
Because he's right next to me, I would be like, would you like, and like whatever like weird half hand motions, half like proper nouns we've used to communicate. I would ask him if he wants me to help heal.
Yeah, I think he looks at you like, just keep your distance, please. Like, stay the fuck away from me.
All right.
Yeah, I think he just puts his hands up like, I don't trust you. Just back up.
Well, and I look at the rest of the party, and no one else was hurt, really, were they? Except for Little Fox?
I mean, Little Fox, if Little Fox was hurt, she doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she doesn't seem to care.
Okay. Then I'll look around and be like, well.
Little Fox in a fight is like the Black Knight in Holy Grail. Like someone has to point out, like, your arm's off. You know, like you don't even feel the wounds until later. So
if our new friend isn't taking the healing, one of them threw a javelin at me.
I look at you and you have like a little like
a scratch,
like a couple of like layers of skin were like, and I'm just like, I'm not healing 2 hit points. Sorry, Dave.
Malik fell off his tricycle. He's fine.
Mm.
He's got a boo-boo. So you wanna try to see if these guys have anything on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Move the dog.
Okay. So one of the, I guess the veteran, like if they had packs and if they were like doing that kind of stuff, they've left them somewhere because obviously this ambush, they didn't set it at their camp. So yeah, you don't find anything on them aside from like the armor they're wearing and the weapons that they have. And I think maybe if you want like to search their pockets individually, they're probably carrying like maybe, let's say 30 gold total on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Little Fox will roll them for that.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of indicator of like who these people are?
No, they're all wearing the same like uniform essentially, which is like a sort of burgundy like felt cloak, like a felted wool cloak, treated to keep the rain off. And they're wearing similar armor and equipped, like whoever made their spears, they got them from a person who makes spears, right? It's all the same spear.
Right.
They're taking equipment from the same armory, but no.
The veteran doesn't have anything like
long sword, short sword,
No,
nothing else.
care.
Armor.
No.
Just a small letter on his person which says, "We think these adventurers have gone and found the Black Orchid.
Yeah.
Bring it back to me. Don't screw this one up again."
Yeah. Lord Dark Raven, Blood Talon, XXX. Smooches.
Yeah.
Signed, my boss, or whatever.
Dark Lord, Bloodhaven, Townsville. No, so you don't find any. There's no like indicator. I mean, the priest would have had a holy symbol on them, but no.
They just ran away.
I
mean,
certainly hope that woman doesn't get lost in the. And then I remember that they were attacking us, and I'm like, never mind.
Exactly. Now you're starting to get it.
I don't understand why a flower is worth this much, but I guess it's part of.
We paid 500 gold.
I mean, but these are lives.
Yeah, but also we're gonna get a pretty cool thing for it. So they might have been able to get a pretty cool thing for it too.
I perhaps when we go back to Kirsabal, I can ask what's her butt? Ashara. What else this flower could be used for.
Yes. Good plan.
Oh, quick point. Our friend did endanger himself and managed to kill 2 of the assailants. Do you want to give him his share of the gold while I deal with the corpses?
Are you asking Little Fox to give other people money? Because she's not about to do it. She's like going through people's pockets and just like stuffing things in her coin purse.
Perhaps we should wait until Kirsabal.
All right. He does deserve his share.
Of course, but I don't want him tempted to run off into the jungle. I don't know why money would give. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Well,
and he's just like touching the staff to people, like, and just
Okay,
immolate.
so the first time you do that, Gal freaks out. He sees you like burn up a corpse, and he starts shouting. And Arcturus, you understand? Like he's walking over to Malik. Like, what are you doing? Stop that! And Malik, he's speaking to you in Omuan, and he gets in your face and like tries to like not take your staff, but like stop you from whatever you're doing from doing that to another body.
Gal, what are you? They come back to life if we don't burn them.
And he looks over your shoulder and he says, "No, you can't burn them. How are they to find their way to heaven if you do that?
They will not.
You can't. Tell your warlock friend to stop.
They will not go to this place you call heaven. They will come here and murder you again.
They have to be buried."
You wish to spend the time to bury all of these corpses.
And he looks at you like, "Of course." Like he nods. "Yes. It is our responsibility. We took their lives."
We will burn them and then...
No, you cannot burn them. Did you not listen to me? They have to be given to the soil.
Did you not listen to me? If given to the soil, they will rise out of it and consume our flesh.
And he just looks at you like you're crazy. That is crazy talk. Why would they do that?
Because there is a curse on this land.
And he says, a curse?
Of death.
No, it's impossible.
It is
I will not be responsible for them and their damnation.
You were responsible for that one. If you would like, you can bury him. And I guess woe unto the person who comes upon his shambling corpse.
Make a religion check.
Okay. Well, 9.
So he looks at you and he shakes his head and he says, "If you want to go to hell, that's on you." Shame. And he turns and he goes back and like he grabs one of the guy's shields and just uses it to start like digging a hole in the mud.
Well, sorry, that conversation was probably not. He thinks that we are sentencing them to eternal damnation for not burying their uncharred bodies, and will not accept that we are trying to save the living from their corpses.
So you want to camp here and let him do that, or are we gonna go to Kirsabal?
He will not go with us unless we force him to. It's a matter of the man's beliefs, and I would not drag him from this place bodily. He can bury the 2 he killed, and Malik can take care of the rest.
You can't the spell. I can probably I'd try and convince him before you resort to anything else. I mean,
I don't have it prepared.
That's unfortunate. Do I want to be the bad guy here?
I mean, we all know what will happen if those bodies are not taken care of.
I mean, we all know is a pretty broad assumption.
I mean, yeah, but we've run into so many things coming back.
Except you haven't really. Like, you've seen a bunch of like cannibal guys that were like brainwashed, but they weren't like zombies.
I mean,
we had the skeletons and we had all of the yellow musk zombies.
Yeah, yellow musk zombies aren't actually zombies. The skeletons were in the Aldani Basin, so yes, you did encounter that. That was
and like very early in the game, you made the point that there was something that was like obviously dead. That was like,
yeah, it's true. I'm just saying you're making an assumption that everything that dies in Chult just comes back.
Yeah, but I don't think
I'm just reminding you that you're you don't have like firm proof 100% that he'll just come back to life.
Yes, that's true. We've also seen graveyards.
Yeah, sure. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying like keep in mind that it's not an absolute. It's a belief.
Yeah, but so is his belief that they're all going to go to hell.
I mean, yes, that's true. That's true. But like, belief is important.
Yes.
Do they need to be buried with their head still on?
I don't know. I could ask.
Nice middle ground.
And like Arcturus like turns around and looks at Gowl just like furtively digging and is like,
and he's doing that thing where he's like channeling how angry he is at you into physical labor, where he's just like, and like he's slipping in the mud and he's covered in like jungle sludge. She's not having an easy time of it.
Perhaps we can. Would it still doom them to eternal damnation if we did not burn them and merely separated their heads from their bodies?
He does not respond to you. He just angry ignores you.
I motion over to Malik and I'm like, you can see as well as I that he's not. I like heft my hammer and like look at Little Fox and I'm just like, maybe we should just not with the fire.
I mean, it's like hella pouring rain too, and there's no cover, so you're all standing miserably out in the cold.
I mean, I'm totally fine with the rain.
Yeah, but
he's too important. Little Fox, can I?
What and I like go to the nearest corpse and like wince a little bit, and then just like smush his brains with my hammer.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
I was gonna get my shovel, but you can do that too.
I don't know. Like Adam said, it's an assumption we're making, and also like as a person who's consumed enough zombie media, I feel like smushing the brains is a thing that
you can
would
make
work.
a religion check about zombies.
Can I make a religion check about zombies?
Sure.
Meanwhile, yeah, Malik,
it's 20. I get a 20.
It super depends, right? Like there's a lot of different ways to make animated dead in this universe.
And I can make animated dead, and it doesn't really matter if they're skeleton or like it probably doesn't even matter if they're burned to a crisp.
No, exactly. Yeah, like even burning off all their flesh, they might come back as zombies, right? You'd have to scatter their bones.
Skeletons.
Skeletons, yeah.
Skeletons, yeah. You'd have to scatter their bones.
Well, then I guess it honestly doesn't matter. And I guess I probably would have known that.
Well, maybe it's a revelation you have now. Maybe you're realizing like, oh, burning them was like a thing we did to make ourselves. Yeah, a thing we did to make ourselves feel better, but maybe it actually isn't doing anything.
Yeah. So I go to like put a hammer to this guy's skull, and I'm just like, oh, this is really shitty. And he's like, his blank eyes are just like looking up at me in the rain, and I'm like, actually, and I turn over to Malik, who's got his like shovel out, and I'm just, thinking about it. It doesn't matter what condition their bodies are in. I could bring them back, even charred as that one is, unless we scatter them to the four winds.
You only tell me this now.
I didn't.
Over months.
I didn't think about it. It was reassuring to see less of a corpse.
While you two are bickering, Little Fox just snatches the shovel out of Malik's hands because she figures she's probably going to have to end up doing it anyways, and then goes over to Gall and just like starts doing some very effective digging.
Yeah, and he looks at you and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't like nod. There's a moment he just looks at you and then goes back to the task. Okay, so who's gonna help dig, and what's everybody that's not digging gonna do?
I feel like he's just really mad at me, and I don't want to.
He is mad at you because you argued with him, and plus also you're the only person he can get mad at that there's any effect. Like he can be mad at Malik, but yelling at Malik isn't gonna make any difference because Malik can't understand him.
Yeah, and Little Fox would be like shouting into the void, like yeah.
Yeah, I guess I go over and like I don't know what I would dig with, either my shield or like my trident, or
Probably
I don't know.
Use your own shield. Yeah.
No, one of their shields or something.
Mhm.
And I think I just like look like I'm gonna open my mouth and apologize, and then realize that he's never like said an apology to me, so I wouldn't know the words for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just like
Yeah, you could
start
probably
digging.
string together something that means like the way I am is wrong, but that's not quite what you're trying to say. So
No.
I am incorrect in the way I am. Yeah, okay. So anybody that's participating in the digging, make an athletics check. Whoever has the shovel, do a regular athletics check. Everybody else do it at disadvantage. This isn't about whether you can do it, it's about how long it takes.
19.
Okay, so 9.
I get a
19.
9.
Okay, and everybody that's helping, you can. Okay, so everybody's gonna chip in. Okay, great.
7.
Well, if everybody does it, it only takes a couple hours to dig. What, like,
A mass grave.
yeah,
for-
a big grave.
The whole time I'm complaining that if you listened to my digging plans before, I don't know why this is the first time we're digging anything, but it's not even for anything.
Ishi, are you the foreman? Are you just like telling everyone how to? Because you know how to dig a hole. God damn it, you have instinctively how to make the best hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm directing poorly in
Awesome.
the rain.
I like say, well, it is for a reason, at least to him. He believes, and I cannot fault him for it, that they will be damned. I don't know what the ancient what would they be called? Chultans?
It depends. Yeah, anyone from the peninsula is a Chultan, and then depending on the city, he's from Omu, so he's an Omuan.
Yeah, I don't know what the ancient. I would probably just say Chultans. What their version of hell entailed and how you got there, but he believes that he's saving their souls. So
Probably something to do with Terrafolk. I feel like there's got to be more of those in hell.
they are.
So
Unpleasant.
that evening, before it gets dark, you'll still have time to travel. You'll get to Kirsabal by nightfall. But that evening, with the rain pouring down on you, you're filling in the hole, and you finished it. And Gowl looks down at it, and he like pats his hands, and he says in Omuan, and you pick up the gist of it. But he basically says, Ubtao, you cannot hear me because you are gone. So forget about you anyway. But these bodies, they are for Chult. They died here, and for you, Mother Jungle, they return. May they nurture your bones. And he like looks up at the sky and he says, and may they go wherever dead pale men go. And then he looks at you, Arcturus, and he says, I am done. Now we can leave.
Right. And like I like take the shield shovel and like toss it somewhere, and like also dust off my hand, and then I'm like, well, and he's probably already walking away.
He's just walking off.
It's which way to Kirsabal? I lost all sense of right.
Malik and Little Fuck are like, it's this way. It's up the hill. Yeah. Okay. All right. So a few hours later, the rain continues pouring down, but now instead of being sort of bright and gray, it becomes darker and gray. And you see ahead of you, though it sort of emerges from the mist, you see Kirsabal, mighty and tall. And yeah, what do you want to just head on up?
I am not looking forward to that staircase.
Yeah, this time maybe the Aarakocra will assist, and you won't have to do all the horrible climbing.
Yeah, I would certainly hope that they would assist.
Try and impress to our friend. These are good bird people.
Oh, right. He said he did not know that there were. Gowl.
Yeah, and he's staring up at Kirsabal, kind of like he's interested in it. And then he turns and he looks and he says, "What?"
The temple here, I don't know how it was when you were living, but now it is being taken care of by Aarakocra. Do you know? And I say it in like common because I don't
Yeah,
know.
he shakes his head. He says, "I do not know what this tribe is."
They are very large bird people. They are not dangerous. So, they will help us get to the top. Don't overreact.
He says, overreact to what?
And then
Yeah.
bird person.
Yeah. And I think, the Aarakocra come down through the storm and they land. And one of them says to you, Arcturus in Orin, who is this stranger you've brought to Kirsabal?
We found him petrified in Nangalore. He is much older than he looks. He does not know the state of things. He thinks it's several hundred years in the past. I wished to bring him to the Queen.
And you are willing to be held accountable for his actions?
I mean, he's his own person. I certainly hope
that sounds like a no to me.
Unless he murders someone, I can't be.
Without someone to vouch for him, he is not welcome in Kirsabal.
Fine. I will vouch.
It is done. And he turns to the other Aarakocra and he says, help them up. And then he basically just reaches out, like he's a pretty big guy. He reaches out and just scoops you up, Arcturus, like whoop,
yeah,
and then spreads his wings and like flies off. And so the other Aarakocra, like they're a little more gentle for the rest of you. They're like, we're here to. I think one of them, like they're trying. One of them sort of speaks common and says like, time to fly. And like gestures up.
Two of them have to pick up.
Yes, Little Fox is gonna need two of them. I was gonna say,
like, there's an awkward bit where Little Fox is like crosses her arms and doesn't want to be carried.
Yeah, and they want permission. They look at you like, you fly up now.
She's really uncomfortable with it, and is probably like scared of flying.
Yeah, it's like very safe. We will not drop. No fall. No die. Promise.
And so she picks out the two that look the strongest. She's like points and like ushers them over.
Yeah.
Sticks out her arms.
They come over, and there's a short argument in bird talk where they're just like chirping at each other. Arcturus, like, you can't hear it, but they're arguing about who's the strongest. Like, I will carry her. No, I will do it. And like they have a little like kind of like puffing up their chest match before they're like, fine. Like you're stronger than me. You do it. But Ishi, the one that picks you up, she comes over and she puts her hands out like for you to like jump up into your hands. And what do you do? So she just like gestures. Come
here.
Okay.
Like, huh.
And you're small, so she just like kind of like cradles you up against her body and like just pats you on the head, and then like puffs up her feathers. So it's just like you kind of just get smooshed into this big soft like bird body.
I'm small, but I'm not a child.
And she just like clucks and whistles at you, and is like, there, shush now.
Oh.
And and then you just kind of slowly get like pushed into the fluff, and it's actually like nice and warm and like kind of dry and like.
This is my fate. I suppose it's fine.
Yeah.
It's wet, and if it's dry, then that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like living in a down comforter.
Yeah. And then you feel suddenly like whoop, your stomach drop a little bit as the Aarakocra flies up into the air. And the rest of you all get carried up. We get the panning shot of Kirsabal in the rain, and you are deposited on the balcony of the little sanctum. So what now? I'm gonna just move you over to the map. What are you gonna do?
We should find Ashara. Did we get the name for the queen?
Which queen? You got to be more specific now.
This one.
Moxanare.
Yeah, Moxanare. I would ask the whichever.
She's hella waiting for you. Her and her little brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you get there, you look inside and you see A couple of Aarakocra, some of the monks or whatever that are keeping watch on the place, and then Waxanare and her brother are they're just standing. They were waiting for you to get brought up here.
Queen Waxanare, we went to Nangalore, and encountered one of your relatives. She called herself Queen. What's her name? I'm sorry, I'm so bad.
Zalcore.
And what did she say? She said something to tell them. I don't remember what it was. Where did I write it down? Nope, I didn't write it down. Great.
So she's just she's staring deadpan at you while you're talking, and then she looks down at the floor around your feet, and then looks back at you, and she says, "You are dripping on the floor."
I'm so sorry. I don't really notice when I'm wet. And I pat myself because I don't really have I'm wearing armor. I don't really have a towel or whatever.
I just I lean in and I just and you dry.
Oh.
And so this is as everybody is getting unloaded onto the onto the balcony and coming inside.
Yes. Well. Anyway, this may be relative of yours. We also discovered a well, I don't know quite how to describe him. Ancient Omuan.
And she's looking at you like you're just making up dumb stories. Like, this sounds totally ridiculous. But the thing she sticks on, and this is everybody else is in here, so you can participate in the conversation. She's not just talking Arcturus. She says, "Whoever you met in Nangalore, she is a pretender, a false queen. I am the only queen of Chult."
No, she was
quite.
She understood her position as an exile. She wanted to tell you. I also have forgotten. Can I make an int check to?
I definitely don't remember.
It's that the line must go on.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
that.
that was it.
She told you. She wanted to tell you that the line must continue, which I assume you have every intention of doing once you find a nice Chilton prince man.
She says, "I have more important things to worry about than men, like my kingdom. Tell me, did you find the orchid?"
Yes.
Yes.
Let me see it.
Yeah, Little Fox has it.
Okay.
She scowls at Queen What's Her Nuts.
Waxanare.
Yeah.
And then pulls out the little thing that she made to
Your little bottle. Yeah.
And shows it, but doesn't hand it over.
Yeah. She looks at it and she says, "Good. It is one thing to come back alive and another to come back victorious. I am proud of you. Good work."
Is Gal here?
Yeah, so Gowl gets unloaded, and he's rubbing his shoulder where the little talons are gripping him. And he's in the middle of, he's walking in and he's saying, he's like, "That was a very unusual," and then he stops and he looks at Waxanare and he immediately drops to one knee, and he says, "My queen."
Oh, there you go.
And
I thought I would have to say something.
Yeah, she smiles and looks at him and she says, "I like this one. He's respectful. Where did you find him?"
He was petrified in Nangalore for hundreds of years.
And she's just ignoring you now. She's like, "Shut up, I don't really care." And she says, "Stand." And he does, and he won't look at her. And she grins and she's like, "Ooh, this is good." Finally.
Wait, can he understand her?
She has, yeah, well, she waved, right? She was like, "Get up."
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
And she switches languages and she's a little unsteady, but Arcturus, you make out basically. She says, "You are in the presence of your queen of Omu and all of Chult," and he just is nodding and "Of course," and she says, "Good. This one understands what respect is. Soon, all of Chult will remember. She kind of nods like, good, excellent. And she doesn't really care about you guys anymore or the orchid or whatever. Like, someone is treating her like the queen that she knows that she is.
Yeah, so Little Fox is just going to go to where she expects the fancy Aarakocra
Yeah,
elder.
upstairs.
Ashara or whatever.
Yeah.
So if I need to
I'm
shoulder
going-
past the queen disrespectfully, I will.
No, you go around because this room, the staircase is like off to the side. You're all standing in the main room.
Okay, great.
And I go with Little Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
I
gonna
like
go
make
flower
the
gets-
move to go with Little Fox, and then I look back at Gowl and I'm like, ooh, they just make a fuss about me like taking responsibility for his actions. Gowl.
And he like sidelong glances at you like, what?
And I look over at like the Aarakocra and like the queen, and I say, they made me. Will you vouch? I can't babysit the man. He's a grown person.
Who are you talking to when you say this?
I think I look over at the Aarakocra.
I mean, Malik, you're the only other person really in the room that isn't like awkwardly like trying not to be part of the scene, is sweeping.
Yeah. I look at the Aarakocra who talked to me when they were like, "Do you vouch for?"
Oh no,
this
they
guy?"
dropped you off and then left to go do other things. They're not here to hang out.
Oh, okay. Well, then I would like look to where they had been, and then look to Moxanare and be like, and yeah, I say it to her like, I can't babysit him. Should I don't know.
And she's just like she's not having a conversation with you. She's just like looking at this guy and like kind of preening a little bit like, yeah, cool. But I mean, you're responsible for him. So if you want to leave, you can. If you stick with him, that's fine.
Gowl, we have to go see the sage elder who
Teacher.
So
teacher.
he doesn't look at her, but he turns his head towards the queen and he says, my queen, this man who is a fish demands that I leave your presence. And she says in Omuan, she's like, you may go. And he like bows backwards a couple of times. And he looks at you like, you're gonna get me in trouble with the queen, jackass. And he's just like, let's go, like move. And he like hustles you towards the stairs.
All right. Gosh. Okay.
And yeah, and just before Malik leaves to go with them, he says, most wise and benevolent Queen Moxanare, your subject may be confused, unsure about the time he's in.
She says,
your wisdom.
she says, unsure and confused. No, I don't know. Let me see. And she says to him, she says, Gowl. And he like stops and like turns. And she says, who is your queen? And he looks around and she's like, look at me. And he like looks at her and she says, I am the queen. And he nods nervously. And she says, see, he's not confused. He knows exactly what's going on.
Oh, all right. It was just the time thing. He was there for a long time.
It does not matter. He is here now. I'm sure the teacher will be interested in hearing more about this, but I have a subject.
I think about it for a second. I was like, shall I tell her that he's a thief?
Right? Like he's kind of a scumbag.
He can't understand me either.
You can say whatever you want about him.
Like, he may have been petrified for attempting to rob the exiled queen's palace. I just thought you should know.
And she says, she scowls at you and she says, don't you think that that's a little bit strange to judge a man for trying to steal when you and your friends are wanton murderers? How many men have you killed to get here?
Oh, I didn't say that I minded specifically. It's just he's your subject, and as such, I thought I should share this with you as a sign of respect.
She shrugs.
Then, by your leave, we have business with Ashara.
She nods, and she says, "Before you leave, Kirsabal, come and speak to me again. I have something I would like to talk to you about."
And a big yellow exclamation mark appears above her head.
Yep. It was there before. It was just grayed out. Okay, so we fade to Little Fox and Ishi. You arrive upstairs first, and what you walk in on is sitting in her little like room. You see Ashara, and she's got like a shawl on because it's a little draftier than usual because of all the rain. So she's got a shawl on, and she's sitting on the floor in her room, and around her are a bunch of little puffy baby Aarakocra. Yeah, they're all small, like a big beaks. They're because their beak doesn't like grow with them. It's the same size when they're hatched. Yeah, so little puffy cheeks, little fuzz balls of varying color. And they're sitting around, and she's talking to them. And as she's talking, there's a little potted plant in front of her, and it's like growing and like blooming along with the story that she's telling in Orin. And it's a story about the jungle. And so she finishes, and the kids all like look at each other and they talk. And at the end of the story, the flower like blossoms. She finishes her like druid craft, and she looks up at you. And in common, she smiles at Little Fox and she says, like, she doesn't smile, but she does the bird equivalent of a smile, and she says, "You're back." And then she looks worried, and she says, "But what about the others?"
Oh, they're coming, I think. We got the thing you asked for.
The black
and
orchid.
Little Fox like sits down where the kids were sitting.
The
so
kids
that-
just like scatter. They're still in the room, so they scatter
Yeah.
as you like plunk your wet self down.
and she like puts out a finger and like pokes at the flower and like mutters to it. And
So now the kids are all just like, "Whoa, what's this?" They start trying to climb you. Some of them are like tugging at your clothes or poking your skin. Like they're all just kind of like, yeah.
Yep. Little Fox is used to having a tiny thing crawl on her, so she kind of
Right.
she doesn't really pay them any mind.
Hey.
She's like saying hi to this flower that she thinks is pretty and like checking it out, and then like fiddles in her bag and pulls out the orchid
Yeah.
in its little jar.
See, like I said, we got it. No problem.
She nods. Good. Then you may yet survive what is to come. If you are set on going to Omu. Let me see it. She reaches out.
Yeah, Little Fox hands it over.
Okay. So she looks over at a shelf that has a bunch of like mortars and pestles and like alchemy supplies and stuff. And she says, "It will take time to prepare for the ritual. You are welcome to stay in Kirsabal as long as you wish. I expect we should be ready in a day or so, depending on the weather."
Okay. I'll see where the others are and what's going on. They're probably making their way.
Yeah, and I think Arcturus, that's when you and Malik like come in, basically.
Right here.
Oh, so it's gonna be about a day to prepare everything we need, apparently.
Right.
So we'll have to spend another night here, I guess.
Exciting.
You nerd.
Yes. And I motion to Gowl, and I'm like, Ashara, this man, his name is Gowl. He is an ancient Omuan. He believes that, well, he was petrified for several hundred years and does not realize time has passed. I don't know quite what to make of him, but
She switches immediately to ancient Omuan and speaks it with a fluency that you barely can understand any of what she's saying. And the two of them have a conversation that you pick out that she's basically
Every
saying,
5
she's asking him a bunch of questions. He is answering them as best he can. She tells him that Omu is a ruin, that Ross and C like betrayed the queen of Omu, and that his venom has destroyed the civilization. And Gal falls to his knees and starts like sobbing into his hands. Ashara comes over to him and basically just like pets his back and like is like, there, it's all right, like it'll be okay. And so he's just like he's just
He
like
finally
sobbing
believes because like
Yeah.
everyone's saying it. Yeah.
Well, and also because she actually like speaks his language. He can't be like, you just don't understand me because you're a weird, like you're
Yeah,
obviously you're making mistakes 'cause we don't speak the same language. But yeah, so she catches him up on things and he just like can't. I mean, he can handle
Yeah,
it. But
that's
he's
a
upset.
big fucking deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah. So I think to catch us up on our break schedule, let's take our second break here. And you can tell me if there's anything you want to do in Kirsabal, and then we'll jump to the Dance of Seven Winds, and
Alrighty
we can
then.
see what that's like. So stick around. Lots more Tomb of Annihilation when we get back.